Hey, welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Dr. Farah Laurent. So, I know it's been a while, but I'm back live on TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So, you guys are typically used to seeing me literally every week, but I took literally just a little bit of time off to rest. So, this is what I wanted to talk to y'all today about is the importance of rest for nurses in your nursing career and also for nurses in business. All right. And again, for those who don't know me, I am a nurse career coach. I help new graduate nurses level up, land their dream role in less than 90 days, getting specialty areas like the ICU, labor and delivery, NICU, ER, and I help them make over six figures getting in their ideal hospitals or whatever locations they want to work in. Okay. And then the other side is I also help nurse entrepreneurs level up their branding, their visibility, and helping them also with their business. We just wrapped up Nurses Making Business Moves, which was a conference held in Tampa. It was the second annual conference. We had a fabulous time. A lot of transformations happened that conference. And to be honest, like I shared in some of my newsletters and on LinkedIn, I thought that it was going to be the last conference that I host just because there's so much that goes into conference hosting as the founder of this conference. And, did not have any sponsors just because of, it being a new conference. Many organizations wanted to be notified at least a year or more in advance. So, it was all self-funded, right? So, but because of the overwhelming positive feedback and literally all the transformations that happened that weekend, nurses were in awe, some were in tears, some got so much clarity. One in particular actually said that she learned the how at this conference, so much so that it was actually more impactful than her whole MBA program because she felt that her MBA program was a lot of information, but it didn't really teach her the how. So that's why, I've decided I don't want to call it quits. I am planning on doing a third conference in 2027. Still looking at different venues and dates. Most likely will be on the East Coast. I had put out a poll on LinkedIn to ask everybody where they wanted it to be. So far, it's looking like New York City. So like I said, for those who are just joining and you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Nursing Dose with Farah, and also follow me on LinkedIn and wherever you're following me from. Recently, had one of my clients, new grad clients, get offered a Stanford position. So super proud of her. And I have a couple other clients that are currently interviewing actually as we speak. So I can't wait to give you guys more news on these new grads that are crushing it and getting the specialty offers that they want and that they deserve. Okay, so let's roll it back and talk about really the main thing I wanted to talk about on this live is the importance of rest in order to be realigned with what it is that you want to do. So obviously, since the conference, it happened March 6th and 7th. On my return back home, a few family members and my kids were a bit sick, flu, strep throat, all the things. So I had to really focus on the family, right? And also myself, just literally resting, sleeping a little bit more. As we know, nurses don't always get the best sleep. So that's what I wanted to focus on. Make sure that you're at least getting sleep. I know it sounds all, redundant because we get told this all the time. But honestly, sleep does wonders for you, right? Your mental and physical health. So that's what I've been focusing on. The other thing is, just slowing down a little bit in terms of realigning what it is that I really want to do in terms of business, re-looking at all the different offers that I offer for the new graduate nurses, and also for the nurse entrepreneurs. Okay. The other thing I wanted to throw out there is many times in nursing, we're taught by the traditional school system that the harder you work, the more work you do will equal more pay. But what I want to start emphasizing to nurses, especially nurses in business or just nurses in general, is picking up more shifts, having 2 or 3 jobs does not necessarily mean more income. What we need to start doing is start leveraging our expertise, start having better conversations in the interview phase, negotiating our salary early on so that we can have that leverage of having more and more income year after year and not being afraid of having those money conversations, negotiating our salaries, because we're doing a disservice not only to ourselves, but to the whole profession. Nurse practitioners, for example, um, it really irritated me, and it still does today, where there could be nurses that have, say, 10 years of experience, maybe 15 years of experience. They become an NP, and then they're told, hey, you can't make this much because you're an entry level nurse practitioner and you need to start lower. How does that make any sense that you have all this experience, you went back to school, advanced degrees, more knowledge, more expertise, but then you're getting a lowball offer? We need to stop with that and be able to negotiate our salaries and leverage our skills and be able to articulate our value and say, no, we will not take this salary. This is what we deserve here. So I want to empower nurses to do that. And then also to realize you can start consulting on the side. If you want to have a side hustle, it's not always about working more and doing more, right, to make more money. And I want to normalize working less and charging more, okay? Because that's what we're about this year. We're not playing, okay? And the other thing, if you're a nurse in business or a consultant or a coach, we have to realize that people will actually do the work once they're more invested and you're doing them a service. If you are consulting for an agency, a healthcare company, a tech company, please charge accordingly. Do the market research and do not undercharge. So many of us undervalue our skills and our services, and we're constantly undercharging. So make sure that you're looking at all that before you take a job, you start negotiating, and also look at other opportunities for extra income, okay? Because we know that financial stress can cause a lot of health issues, mental health issues, a lot of stress in our lives. And when we have financial stress and all this other stuff, it's really hard to rest, right? When you have bills to pay, when you have things to do. So this is why, if you're wondering, why is she talking about the importance of rest and talking about finances and negotiating salaries and making more money? Because we don't talk about money enough, and we don't talk about economic status and financial freedom. When you are stable financially, then naturally you're able to rest and be at ease. So this is why I want you, even if you're a new nurse practitioner, or whatever it is, please start educating yourself about finances, how to negotiate your salary, and just literally ask for more. Ask for more money, ask for more time off. Look at your compensation package and ask for more time off, whatever the case is, because we need to take care of ourselves. If you're working too much, it's going to be tough to sustain that type of lifestyle. So that's why, even in entrepreneurship, when we first start as a nurse, we're doing a lot of things on our own. You're doing the marketing by yourself, doing social media content, you're delivering the product or service yourself. So you're kind of doing it all. So before you start building out a team, you kind of have to do a little bit of everything, and that can be stressful. So, this is why I say sometimes you do have to build in some periods of rest. Make sure that you are getting enough sleep. Other things that I like to go to when I'm feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or I need time to, rest a little bit. Music is big for me. I've been listening to a lot of jazz music, but I like all genres like R&B, hip hop. But I've been going back to a lot of like the neo soul, like Sade, Maxwell is one of my favorite artists. That type of stuff. Okay, because music to me is therapy, right? And obviously there's music therapy, so that's a big one for me. So rest, sleep, music, prayer is another big one for me. Praying for clarity, next steps. And then the other piece of it is gratitude. I always say when I start feeling like overwhelmed or getting in my feelings too much or feeling like in a funk, I got to get into the gratitude and start marinating in gratitude and saying, hey, what am I thankful for? I'm so grateful for this or that or that. Like, look at what you have to be grateful for because there's so much out there. Even though things seem to be super overwhelming, there's a lot going on in the world. Prayer and being in gratitude, I think, is something else that's super important. And also being in community. I am in a mastermind with Rachel Rogers. That community has been extremely supportive and helpful. Unfortunately, I was not able to make the in-person mastermind in Brooklyn, but there's been an outpouring amount of support and love from that community. So it's important to be in community or at least, talking to a couple of friends that you could reach out to. And of course, surrounding yourself with family is important. Another thing for me is comedy. So I've been watching a lot of stand-up comedy because laughter, I think, is another form of medicine, right? And then listening to podcasts. Okay. So I have my own podcast. I've paused that for a little bit. But I am going to be coming back live, talking more about my journey to entrepreneurship, giving more tips to the new grads on interviewing and job search and things like that. So I just wanted to, just come and talk about the real about what's kind of been going on, why you haven't seen me so much on TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And for all my new nurses out there, I did start a YouTube channel, so definitely check that out. It's called The Nursing Dose with Farah. I create a lot of content about job search, interviews, things like that. So please subscribe. More videos will be coming out on that. Okay. And then I just wanted to give a couple of shout outs to some of the nurses that I'm pretty close with and I communicate with on a regular basis. But shout out to a couple of these nurses because they actually took the time to call me or text me or check on me. And these nurses are amazing. So I just wanted to give them a big shout out. Yes, there's others, but these three nurses stand out in particular. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out and their flowers if they're listening. So one of them is Darlene Bell. She actually has a business, a wellness business. So she reached out to me to check on me post-conference a couple times. So super grateful for her. Dr. Kimberly Madison as well, who was a panel speaker and spoke about AI and social media content. So she's amazing as well, business owner as well. And she reached out to me, one of my business besties, and was literally asking me questions about how I felt and all the things. So thank you to her as well. And also Frankie Bell. She's also been supportive and really amazing. So just wanted to shout out a couple of those nurses. And Frankie also helps nurses with confidence and kind of like life coaching and wellness as well. So definitely check out those nurses. I always like to shout out nurses that are doing great things and that are also awesome human beings and are being supportive, okay? Especially on this LinkedIn community, because this is where we all met. So let me know if you guys have any questions. I know I've been talking quite a bit. Any questions in the chat for TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, let me know. Again, I know I'm talking about a lot of different things, but the core of today's topic is the importance of rest as a nurse, and also rest when you do have a business. Okay, because a lot of times I know we're like always in like go mode, constantly creating, constantly trying to do something, marketing, whatever. And as nurses, we sometimes don't do the best job of taking care of ourselves, because we're always taking care of other people or our families and stuff like that. Especially, if you're a mom, high achieving woman, maybe you have a current business, a side hustle, and you're working full time, or perhaps going to school, it can be very tough and overwhelming. And I just want to let you know, you're not alone. So many times we go through things and we're thinking this is just us, but we all go through, some very similar things. But the main thing that I wanted to just highlight is even just literally taking 5 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, whether it's going outside for a walk or doing what it is that helps you feel rested, and kind of back to your center. Okay. So I mentioned a couple things earlier. Like for me, what helps is like prayer, music, sleep, comedy, family, podcast, and of course nature, like going outside and stuff like that. And then of course having a community or talking to a couple friends. So many people get busy and wrapped up in their own lives. But if you're thinking about a friend or someone, you might want to quickly check on them, or a family member, because you never know what people are going through, right? So let me know if you have any comments, questions, drop them in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me. I will stay on for a little while just to talk about the different things that are going on in terms of my different offers for new graduate nurses and nurse entrepreneurs. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, comments, drop them in the chat. If you happen to be watching the replay, especially on LinkedIn, drop any comments or questions you have and I'll go back and answer them. Or you can just shoot me a message, a DM, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one for coaching. So I do help new graduate nurses land their dream role. Like I said, I try not to take too many one-on-one clients, because I started a group coaching program for new graduate nurses. And I know a lot of new nurses will be graduating very, very soon this spring. So it's not too early to jump into the group coaching, because you want to make sure that you have your resume, cover letters. If you're trying to apply to a residency program, you got to make sure everything is ready, good to go. Because I always say you want to apply on day one when the nurse residency program opens up. You want to be prepared. You want to be able to stand out and have that application ready to go, submitted on day one. Okay. A lot of the new grads that I help are in the New York City area and the San Francisco Bay area in California. And these two areas are probably what people say are the most competitive, but my clients are actually getting offers the same week of their interview or same day offers. Just recently, a client of mine, Savannah, I'm still waiting for you, Savannah, for your testimonial, written testimonial and video testimonial. She's out of California, Northern, and she had multiple ED interviews, and she actually recently got a same day offer for an ED position. That's right, emergency position as a brand new nurse. Okay, of course, we leveraged the fact that she was an ED tech for like almost 2 years, but we made sure that We positioned her for success. She had all the certifications, did all the things, and she slayed her interview. And she was able to get an ED position in Northern California and get a same day offer. Okay. So I want you to know that it is possible. Earlier, I talked about the other client, Kaylin, which actually I dropped her video testimony here on TikTok and on LinkedIn as well. She was a new grad, less than a year, was struggling to get her dream offer. And not only did she get one offer, she got 3 offers, but she landed a Stanford position, and that was her dream position. So it is possible. I talk to a lot of nurses who feel like they don't have hope. They feel overwhelmed. They feel defeated, is the word they say a lot. And they're putting in so many applications and not even getting to the interview stage. So if that sounds like you, or you want to prevent that from happening to you, then you need to reach out to me to see if you're eligible to get into my group coaching program, because I don't just accept any new nurse. You have to fill out an application, make sure you meet the criteria, because I only take nurses who are committed to do the work and who are serious about taking action into the group coaching. And yes, it is a paid group coaching program. It is not for free. I have over 20 years of experience as an emergency nurse, educator, director of nursing, director of education, associate dean in academia, and I've been helping new grads for almost 5 years now. I have over 100 testimonials, and I've helped coach over 200 new grads to get their dream position. So I would love, to help you as well if you're ready to get into a specialty position. And why do I do this? Because I was told as a new nurse that I could never be an emergency nurse as a nursing student. And I was like, okay, no, watch me. I am going to do it. And then I later promised myself that I would become an educator, a cool educator to help the next generation. And that's what I've been doing. And that's why I became a nurse career coach. And then after becoming a nurse career coach, so many nurses were like, how did you start your business? How did you become a consultant? How did you become a coach? Did you have to go to school to get an MBA or get a specific certification? And I'm like, no, no, no. I literally took all the skills from over the last 20 years and my expertise with interviewing and careers, blended it all together, came up with frameworks, proven frameworks that actually work, and created a process that is a rinse and repeat process that continues to get outcomes for my clients. They continue to get exactly what they want, getting in the ICU, the ER, labor and delivery, NICU, pediatrics, psych, as brand new nurses. And some of them actually getting offers before they even graduate. Okay? So that's what I love to do, is helping the new graduate nurses. And I met a bunch of nursing students at my conference. Some of them volunteered and some of them I invited to come just to see the different opportunities there are in nursing. Okay. So like I said, if you're interested to join my coaching group program for new grads, DM me on LinkedIn. That's the best way to reach me. If you are a nurse that's looking to start a consulting business or a coaching business, which I just, we call that a service-based business. If you're interested in learning how to do that, how to start your own business, definitely reach out to me. Just DM me on LinkedIn. I also have a book. I don't have it next to me here, but I wrote a book called Nurses Making Money Moves, a nurse's guide to starting a business. You can find that on my website, nursefair.com. I can drop the link later on LinkedIn so you guys have it. I also have a gratitude journal that I don't talk a lot about. That could be found on Amazon. It's called the 90-Day Gratitude Journal. Okay, so look that up. You could just type in Dr. Farah Laurent on Amazon and you'll find my gratitude journal there. You can, it has different prompts. You can put in your goals, your daily goals, affirmations. There's a little area where you can manifest things. So it's super cool. You could check it out there on Amazon. And like I said, any questions or comments, drop them in the chat. Thank you guys for showing up. I see Shamika, Bamani, Rainy, Zoe. Who else is on here? Chiquita, Steph. Let me know if you guys have any questions before we wrap it up. They changed Restream a little bit. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes. Okay, cool. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to be logging off here in a few minutes. And I'm going to be restarting my weekly webinars every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, free webinar for new graduate nurses. Typically runs for about an hour. Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, if you want to join, if you're a nursing student or a new grad watching, go to newnursejob.com and you can join. Yeah, you're a nursing student, Rainy. You can definitely join. What year are you? Are you in your last year? I mean, any nursing student can join. It's more designed for the student that's in their last year or their last semester because it focuses a lot on how to interview, things like that. But yeah, you could definitely join. And you can also just go to newnursejob.com. And if you, for some reason, miss this webinar, you'll get notifications about when the next one is, and you'll get emails and stuff like that. And then you'll also be on my email list. So if I have any upcoming events or anything like that, or a new offer, you could check it out. And then in Rainy, I also have a course called the New Nurse to Dream Role course. You can find that on my website as well under course, nursefair.com. And that course currently right now is only $4.97. Any nursing student can purchase it. A lot of nursing students get it so that they can start preparing themselves on, what to do when they go to clinicals, how to create relationships, how to network, how to set up their LinkedIn profile early on as a nursing student, because you don't want to just wait until the end, Rainy, right? You don't want to just wait until you graduate and then like, okay, cool, let me get a LinkedIn profile. No, you should start early as a nursing student and start building your LinkedIn network. Make sure your profile is up to date. And I have all that in the course. Like I show you a video of like how to even set up your LinkedIn, how your photo should look, how your headline should be, the about me section, like everything you need to know for a new graduate nurse. And really it's applicable to any nurse, but I created it specifically for new nurses. So it's called the New Nurse to Dream Role course. I would definitely check it out. It's only $4.97. Interested about the ICU? Posted about the ICU certs and courses like the IV course. Yeah, I made a video here on TikTok. I don't know if you saw it, Rainy, but I talked about if you wanted to go into the ICU, what you should do. I also have a YouTube video specifically on nurses who are interested in the ICU. So I talk in there about obviously getting your ACLS, joining the AACN, the American Association of Critical Care Nurses, potentially taking an IV course, depending on where you are. Most states will offer that. Taking the ECG, EKG course from the AACN. One client actually just took that course, and literally after talking to her, like I told her last week, I was like, you better take the course and complete it. I was asking her a bunch of clinical questions before, and she was really struggling with them. So I was like coaching her through. And then post taking the course, like She was so good. And it's not only going to help you with your interview, but it's just going to make you a better nurse. So definitely take that EKG, ECG course if you're interested in critical care. And even if you're interested in the ER, same thing. It is a very valuable course to take, and it will make you a more competent nurse. Yeah, so take that. And then obviously the NIH stroke scale. What else for the ICU? Yeah, and then even on the AACN, there's a bunch of educational courses that you can take, like certifications once you're in there. Okay. So Rainey says, yes, I'm a PCT and ICU, so this is so helpful. Thanks. Yeah, feel free to, like I said, message me on LinkedIn if you are on LinkedIn, Rainey. And definitely check out the course. And I would love to see you on my free webinar. And the fact that you're a PCT in the ICU, points for you. Okay, so if you're a nursing student and you're like, I'm really interested in the ICU or labor and delivery or whatever, get yourself a job on that unit, specifically the hospital system that you want to work for. Because once your foot is in the door as a volunteer or as a PCT, like a tech or a CNA, hello, you have access to the leadership team, to the, to all the different team members. You can start creating relationships, and you're already in their HR system. So it's an easy transition when you become a new grad to start working there. All right. So yes, Rainey, please reach out to me. I'd love to chat and help you get into this ICU position that you want. Okay. So thanks for all the questions. And that's it for me, y'all, I guess. So yeah, just to wrap it up, as I mentioned, the importance of rest for realignment. Rest can get you more clarity. You become more productive. You become more creative. And you're just in better alignment when you have a little bit of rest. Okay. And nurses struggle with this because we're always on like go, go, go mode. But obviously, for obvious reasons, your mental health, physical health, it is important to, take the time to rest, to sleep, take care of yourself, because as nurses, we're not the best at taking care of ourselves. As I mentioned, we take care of everybody else. And then don't be afraid to ask for more money, to negotiate your salary, talk about money, learn about financial literacy. Even as a nursing student, start listening to podcasts about financial literacy so that you have the communication, the skills, so that you don't leave money on the table. Also, normalize talking about money because we don't talk about it enough. And it's a tool, right? It's like it's not negative. You're not being greedy. Yes, we're in a profession where we're serving communities, serving others. However, if financially we're unable to sustain ourselves, then we can't be any good to other people. So we need to start teaching these organizations that we are super valuable and that we will ask for what we're worth and more. And let's normalize working less and making more money, because financial freedom, financial literacy, and that independence gives us options. And the more financially stable you are, the more you can rest, the less stressed you are, the more you can provide for your family. And isn't this why we all went to school? To get a better job so that we can provide for ourselves and our families. Yes, we're in a profession where we serve communities, but if we are not healthy ourselves, it's going to be very hard to sustain. So many nurses are leaving the profession. We don't want to see that. So we need to be directed an alignment with our values. Don't settle for less. Stop taking these jobs that you don't really want or that you're not passionate about. As the nurse career coach, this is why I help new graduate nurses get into the specialty areas that they want, guide them to be in the right organizations that will support their growth, support their education, and support their transition to practice so that they don't feel unsupported, so that they don't leave before a year or before 2 years. Okay. And we need to teach our younger generation of nurses how to advocate for themselves so that we can have better work conditions and create a better healthcare system for everyone. But it starts with taking care of ourselves as nurses, resting, and learning about financial literacy and asking for more because we deserve more. Yes, we're grateful. We can marinate in that, but we need to start articulating our value and asking for more and feeling empowered to do so and to take action. Okay? Because remember, economic stability and financial stability and all of that creates better outcomes for everybody. Okay? So that's really my message. I hope that's helpful. And I will see you next time. And thank you, Rainey, for all your questions. I hope to see you on my next webinar. Go to newnursejob.com to register for my webinar. Send me a message on LinkedIn. I hope you're on LinkedIn. And thank you again, everyone, for watching. I will see you next time. And yes, you'll see more of my face very soon because I'll be creating more content to come. All right. I hope that was helpful for y'all. Again, this is Dr. Farah Laurent, nurse career coach, nurse entrepreneur, business coach, host of Nurses Making Business Moves, host of The Nursing Dose with Farah. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't subscribed. Check out newnursejob.com to register for my new webinar coming up. And check out nursefair.com to get my course for new grads, the new Nurse to Dream Role course, or to get my book, Nurses Making Money Moves. I have to get it all right, all straight. Nurses Making Money Moves on nursefair.com, the book, A Nurse's Guide to Starting a Business. And check out my journal on Amazon called the 90-Day Gratitude Journal. I will drop the link later